As I told you in the previous video, in this video we're gonna go through the menu of the true uSDX designed by Manuel and Guido. All hail to Manuel and Guido. Hail, hail, hail. This magnificent little device is quite versatile and it's worth its money in gold. So for this money you get a pretty decent radio. But first, so to get into the menu, you have to press the menu button, self-explanatory. First item is the volume. Now to select any of the items in the menu, once you press the menu, you get the first step, which is volume. Press it and then you can go up or down. Once you are finished with adjusting the volume, you press it again and you are out of the selection. Then with the rotary knob you go to the second mode, selection. Over here you have the modes. You press it with the knob and then you have the selection of lower sideband, upper sideband, CW, FM and AM. Now in this menu selection you have AM and FM also, contrary to the selection that you have only with pressing the enter while in the VFO mode. Next, it's filter bandwidth. You can choose from 4K, 3K, 2.4K, 1.8, and then for CW 500, 200, 100 and 50. $3K is for the SSB, the best that I could find to be acceptable. Now all these settings that I will be explaining now, they are as advertised or advised by Manuel in his explanations in his YouTube channel and on the forum that he has on the dl2man.de website. Over here you can select the band. We are on the 40 at the moment, 60, 30, 20. Now this is the lower version of the lower bands of the true uSDX. You have a version with the high bands and the classic version. You can visit the web page of Manuel to have more in-depth explanation of the versions that you can order this radio in, selecting the bands that you wish to have. Tune rate 1K, that's the on the VFO mode you select the step of the tuning rate on the display. VFO mode A and B, I explained this in the previous video, so go back to see how to change from VFO mode A and B. Receive incremental tuning. This is also selectable through the quick access on the long pressing the enter. Automatic gain control, I would suggest to have it on because this setting allows you to minimize the sudden high noises or the sound that are coming in from the receiving end. Noise reduction, now this I didn't find it quite well working, I would say, and just leave it on the 0. So if you have a lot of interference with the local QRMs from the, I don't know, solar panels somewhere and stuff like that, you can reduce it, but you will reduce also the receiving RF from the other operators. Attenuator number 1, leave it on 0 decibels as suggested by Manuel. Attenuator number 2 on number 2, also suggested by Manuel. Over here we have the selection of for the S meter. Now when you have it on S, you will have the numerical display of the S meter in the right top corner. Then you can have it in the bars, and if you have a CW mode, so you are doing the Morse code communication, you will have words per minute pick up by the radio, so it will give you the number of the words per minute of your receiving signal. SWR meter, when you have it in, so we have a couple of options, forward and SWR. That means you will have, when you are measuring it, you will have forward power and SWR. Then you will have forward power and reflected power, then the power and efficiency, and power and voltage. So if you don't have any means of getting to know what is your battery voltage coming in, maybe it's depleted or something like that, so you for some reason will have less power coming out and not reaching your desired operators, you can also suspect and check if your battery has enough voltage. One more thing to note on this one, this only works, SWR meter works only in CW mode, so you have to put it in CW mode to check any of these items. CB decoder, apparently it's quite good, but I didn't use it. I'm still learning my CW. It's been a long, tedious course for this. I'll get there. Semi-QSK, that is also for your telegraphy. It allows, when it is on, it allows you to type your Morse code message without interference of the other station sending their signal to you, so you will not hear them while you are typing your message when it's on. When it's off, you will hear every time you release the straight key or a paddle between your dits and dots, you will hear the incoming code. Keyer speed, it has a built-in keyer, so when you are using your paddle, you can select the speed of your transmission. Keyer mode, whatever you are using, straight key, iambic B, iambic A. Keyer swap, so on the paddle that you're using, if you want to have dits on one paddle and DAWs on the other, or vice versa, you can swap this over here. Practice mode, for if you want to do the practice mode for CW, if you go into this selection, put it on, it will not transmit on the antenna connector, so you can practice without antenna being connected, so you won't be able, you don't need to worry about damaging your radio with the high SWR because it's not connected. So put it on, do your practice, and then put it off so you have transmission on your next activation. Voice operated, so if it's on, you don't need to press the PTT, it will pick up your voice and it will start transmitting. This also has some usage in the digital modes, but I'm not into that, so you can have a look on the Manuel's webpage for explanation of those. Noise gate, this is a selection that can pick up the sensitivity of your mic. It's not a mic gain, but number 3 is recommended by our guru Manuel, so keep it that way. TX drive, so that's something like my gain. For the QRP radio, it's suggested to have it on 4, but if you're getting for instance, if you're getting reports that your voice is over modulated, then put it to 2 or 3, and this will also have an impact in if you have an amplifier directly connected to antenna and then to the from the amplifier to the power amplifier to the antenna. This will give you more power out of the amp. I tested that on my amp that I have, and it is so. So if you have it on 1, you get pretty much 20 watts out of the amp, and if I put it to 4 or 5, I could get up to 35 watts out of this radio through the PA. TX delay, leave it on 0. Interval, CQ interval, so if you can pre-program your message, CW message, and this is the interval between the 2 messages that you are sending, so 5 seconds between each sending of message. The CQ message, for instance, you can program it here. You press it and then you can see how they are being changed. Once you select the letter that you wish, press it again and goes to another one, and so on and so on and so on. If you don't want to change anything, just keep on pressing. And for this, to activate it, how to activate this CW message, we'll have another video in about 10 days when I will make a demonstration of how the radio works in a real-time activation. I think I'll do the bunkers on the air. That's most practical for me. I have a ton of bunkers around my house, and to get out of it, I think you have to press enter. Now it goes all the way there, but you just go back and it stays in this menu selection. CQ interval, okay. Power amplified bias minimum, keep it on 0 because you cannot get it any lower, it's a minimum. And max 128 is golden middle as advised. You can ramp it up higher, but not for long. If you keep on transmitting for longer periods, you can burn the radio. 128 is safe. Reference frequency, we'll also explain this, how to use and how to adjust the reference frequency in the next video. Basically, your radio, when it comes in, it's not spot on. If you are lucky, it is spot on onto the frequency, but mine and plenty of other guys reported that it was not on the frequency, and this is how you adjust it over here. So if you got it ready built from one of the legal suppliers, you have to adjust your reference frequency. We'll get into that in the next video. Our shunt, leave it at 17. Don't go into it, we are beginners. This is a video for beginners, just like I am, and leave it on 17 as advised. Don't go into it. LPF configuration, like I said a couple of steps back, these radios come in 3 configurations: low, high, and classic. High and classic. So what this means, that depending on which bands you selected to get supplied, you have to have this selection exactly on those bands. Because if you, for instance, this one is 80, 60, 40, 30, 20 meter option, and that's low bands. If you go on a high and try to work with the high setting, you will be running a 10 meter band through the 20 meter setup hardware inside the radio, and it will burn. So make sure that this stays exactly on the config that you have your radio in. Don't touch it. And firmware mode, that's the last step in the menu. This one is an old one, I didn't update it, it works fine, I have no complaints about it, so I'm not touching it. Pretty much that's it. Thank you for watching, and let me know if you need any more explanations, or if I messed up something, or give me any more advices. And don't forget to subscribe, like and share.